Good morning, everybody.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Right. Now you can hear me. Can
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Okay. Good. Okay. So if it is going well, we will always have the Thursday lesson online unless we need to meet physical. And I was trying to connect through the laptop, but I don't know what's the problem. It's not connecting through the laptop. Uh, Then let me upload the part which is we supposed to discuss on the team so that you can open that side because it's difficult for me to display from the phone. Uh, just give me a second. We are continuing with the question we did on manufacturing accounting. It started yesterday. The preparation of manufacturing account and income statement. So we did so far up to the calculation of gross profit. Uh, So far, is there anyone has the problem, do not understand how did we calculate the gross profit?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't understand how we got the gross profit.
Okay, which part?
I
Let me know.
understood that. I understood that we took the total cost of production carried down to put it as
Yes,
the cost of inventory, and I
yes.
don't know
First
where
of
the
all, we
38,000.
calculate the total cost of production, which
What?
is incurred during the year, which is 793,450, right?
Yes, ma'am. But I didn't understand where the 38,000 came from. Was it the
Okay.
opening?
If you go back to the question, you will see the opening inventory of finished goods.
Oh, okay,
Opening
ma'am.
inventory of finished. Can you see there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So because this is not the part of manufacturing cost because the goods was already manufactured last year and uh, it has been in the warehouse or storeroom. Okay. So when you are calculating the manufacturing cost, you should not include the cost of goods which is already manufactured last year. But when you are preparing the income statement, that time you have to account it because you sold that good also to earn the income during this year. That's why we add the opening inventory of finished goods, which is 38,900, then plus the cost of production, 793,450. Then end of the year, there is also some finished goods was remain as a unsold. So that information, the inventory of finished good on 31st December 2022, it is given at the end of the question. You will see there. Did you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you will find there. So there you can put the gross profit. So after having the gross profit, then we account the other expenditure as same like we prepare the income statement for sole trader we did in 100, ACC 100. Then first of all, we start with administrative expenses. So the next heading you are going to write administrative expenses. Okay. Then write next heading administration expenses. Then you have to look What are the administration expenses given in the question? So everybody has the question. See what kind of administration expenses are given there, like the salary of workers who's working at administration. What other have you seen?
The depreciation of the administration computers.
Rent, general expenses, right? So now you have to account all those. So you can write one by one. Okay, let me try again with the. So you first write administration salary, which is 44,000. The rent belong to the administration side is 1/6 of the total rent. So the total rent for the business for the year, it was 12,000. So 1/6 part of 12,000, which is make 2,000. 2,000 rent will go for the administration. Okay. And then insurance, also the portion of insurance, 1/6 portion will go to the insurance. After that, just a minute. Wait. Yeah, I think it's working. Just give me a minute so that I can share the document. All right, can you see the screen? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we were here. We start with administrative expenses. So the administration salary, 44,000, rent, which is 1/6 portion of total rent. So 1/6 portion of 12,000 is 2,000. Then insurance charges also we take because the occupied area of administration building is 1/6 of total, like we do in overheads. Then general expenses, depreciation of administration computer. So that 2000 we calculated on the cost of computer. The cost of computer at the administrations are 20,000 and 10% of the depreciation charges on the all the machineries and computers. So the 10% of 20,000, it's going to be 2,000. That's how we get this figure 2,000. Okay. So then you have add all the administrative charges. The sum of it 63,350. But we subtract all the type of expenses which is classified as administrative expense, uh, selling and distribution expense, and if they have any other financial charges. So we include all of them. Now, after having the administration cost, which is 63,350, then we account for selling and distribution. For that, you have to look in the question. Uh, check what kind of selling and distribution costs are given in the question. You can check in the question from the beginning of the top. What expenses are there? Like sales representatives salaries. So that is, that is a selling and administration charges. Commission on sales. So they paid commission on sales because it is given in a debit column of the trial balance. So obviously it is an expense. So commission on sales is an expense. Then just go one by one. Look at what other expenses are given there. Rent is not a selling and distribution. Insurance, bank charges, no, they are relevant with the financial charges. Carriage outward. Carriage out means they paid for transportation to sending the goods outside. So carriage outward is also related to the sales of goods. So carriage outward, which is given in the question, 5,900. So you list all the expenses which is belongs to the sales and distribution, and you list them. After that, we write their total in the last column. So their total is 47,400. Up to here is clear to everyone? Up to administration and the selling and distribution expenses.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now,
No,
financial,
Sakti.
okay.
Ma'am, can you please scroll up to where the income statement starts?
From the beginning. You mean from the beginning of the income statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Until we calculating the cost of production for the year, that is called manufacturing account. After manufacturing account is completed, once you get the total cost of production for the year, which is for this question is 793,450. Here, your manufacturing account is done. Then when you start from sales here, this part, this is a part of income statement, okay? So you remember the income statement structure or format is just same for all the type of business. Only the entries can be varies depend on the type of transaction. So your income statements are starting from sales. The sales figure given in the question 1 million. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay. So you always start with the sales revenue income statement. Either it's called sales or sales revenue. Then from that we subtract the cost of goods sold. So when you are calculating the cost of goods sold for the business who are making goods, so they always have some stock of the good which is already manufactured but not sold out. So they have some already manufactured goods finished as a finished good at the beginning of the year, which was sold during the year of 22. So that's why we added which is produced as a production cost of goods. From here, we add the opening inventory of finished stock plus the stock cost which is produced during the year. So the total cost of finished good is 832,350. But all the goods which is produced or available at the business from the manufacturer not sold out. There was some inventory of the finished good is remain or left unsold. So the remaining inventory is treated as a closing inventory and we always subtract the value of closing inventory. That's why this 40,000, it is given after the trial balance in the question as inventory end of the year 31st December with the cost of 40,000. That's why we subtract the 40,000 here. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
from 832,350, when we subtract 40,000, the remaining cost of goods is 792,350. This we subtract from the sales revenue. The cost of goods we subtract from the sales, then you will get the amount of gross profits. Because as you remember, gross profit is always the difference between the sales revenue minus the cost of goods. So here we are subtracting the cost of production, including the goods which is already made by the business. That's how we calculate. Okay. Then after
Okay,
having
ma'am.
the gross profit, then we next step in the income statement to calculate the net profit. So for net profit, we subtract the other operating expenses. In previous semester, we were not classified the expenses into various categories. But to make your income statement more easy to understand, more easy to calculate, we classify the expenses into various categories like administration expenses. So we only account all that administration expenses here. Then we also talk about selling and distribution. So we only account the selling and distribution cost over here under this category. So it will make more neat and clean. So under administration, then when you are doing that, you have to go back to the question and see what are the expenditures incurred at the administrative activities or for the administrative side. So you check in the question, like here, you can see administrative salaries. It means this is the salary for workers who are working at the administration block. Then sales representative, obviously sales people will not come under administrative, so it won't take. Then you go one by one in the question. General administration expenses 13,400 is given there. So you can pick and put here, list them one by one. And we also know that uh, the other expenses like expense of lighting, rent, insurance, they are also a portion between the factory and the administration side. They are portion, fifth, sixth portion for the factory and 1/6 portion for the administration block. So the 1/6 of total rent will go to the administration. 1/6 of the insurance cost will account to the administration expenses. Lighting, the total lighting charges is 7,500. So 1/6 portion of 7,500 uh, will be 1,250. That's how we get 1,250. You understand?
Yes, the apportionment we understand.
Okay. Everyone? Anyone is there who do not understand? Then at last, the depreciation on administration computers, the computers used for the administrative work. So the question says that depreciation has been charged at the rate of 10% per annum on the cost price. So when they're saying 10% of the cost price, so we have to look what is the cost price of computers used for the administration, which is also given in the question. 20,000. 20,000 is the cost. So we calculate the 10%, which is make 2,000. So you will write here 2,000, okay? Then once you've done all the administration expenses, you list them, then add all the cost. When you add all these 144,000, 2,700, 13,400, 1,250, 2,000, the total you will get 63,350. You only recorded the administration expenses. Now you also need to record the selling and distribution. So now what are the expenses related to the sales of goods and distribution? That you look one by one again in the question, like the salaries of sales representatives, commission given on the sales, carriage outward. So you list them and their amount in the amount column, like their salaries of the sales people was 30,000. So we write 30,000. The total commission paid over the year is for 11,500. And we no need to calculate this amount. They are already given in the question. And the transportation charges for outside as a carriage outward, 5,900. When you add, you will get their total, which is 47,400. After that, we also account for financial charges, how many amount the company paid for the financial issues. So for that, you have to look in the question, what kind of financial charges they paid. And there was a bank charge. The amount, there's also one amount given bank, 16,800 debit side in the question. I believe so everybody have the copy of question, the one distributed yesterday in the class. Do you have the copy of question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please take the question so that you can see that from where we are taking this figure, which one we need to take, which one we no need to consider at the moment. So please cross check with the question. get your copy of the question which is given. If you see the question in the trial balance downside, you also see the bank 16,800. Here, the bank which is showing this amount is not the financial charges or expense through the bank. This is the amount as a asset deposited into the bank. So don't write those amount if you see the bank. It
So
has to
there,
be, yeah, this is
so
the, yes,
so there is the bank balance.
yeah, that is the bank balance. The balance remain at the bank is 16,800 and cash as a cash at the business premises 1,500, right? Yeah, that is the bank balance. You will see the bank charges. If there is any bank
Ma'am,
commission, charges paid, transfer fees
thank you,
paid,
Papa.
that one will be given as an expense. So
Okay, ma'am.
after the general administration expenses, wait a minute, the bank charge is given for 2,300. You have to account it here. And discount is also a financial implication. So it is also treated as a financial charges for 4,800. Yes, now you can ask the question.
So can you repeat the part where you're talking about bank balances?
Okay, do you have the question in front of you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, if you see the trial balance after the account receivable and account payable, the next
Yeah.
item is written bank, right?
Okay, okay. Yeah.
16,800. So if they are not clearly identifying is a bank charges or bank commission, whatever, this is the bank balance. The money remain at the bank. So it should not be stated here under expenses because that is the remaining cash or amount um, left at the bank. That one will be go in the statement of financial position under assets. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. So then again you have to check after classifying the administration expenses, selling, distribution, financial charges. If there is any other expense left which is not yet accounted, then you have to include that. Have you noticed that among these expenses we did not record the depreciation on productive machinery? Have you noticed that?
We noticed that
Okay, why we didn't calculate the depreciation on productive machinery here?
because it is indirect manufacturing cost.
Indirect or direct?
it's direct manufacturing cost.
Yeah, it's a direct manufacturing cost and is already accounted when you are preparing the total manufacturing expenses, right? Can
Through
you
that.
see here? Yeah. So this one is already accounted. That's why you no need to calculate again depreciation on the productive machinery when you are calculating the other expenses. Are we together? Like here you can see. Oops,
Yes, ma'am.
just a minute. Yeah. That's the reason we do not take in again here under other expenses because that depreciation charges is already recorded in the manufacturing account. So you no need to again calculate the depreciation on protective machinery and other expenses. Otherwise, it will be duplicate of the same cost in the two times in the books of account, right? Okay, now After income statement, we also prepare the statement of financial position. So the structure of the statement of, okay, you want to ask something?
Before you continue, what if
Mhm.
what if you are given additional drawings outside the trial balance?
Additional drawings.
Yes.
They are
Okay.
going to the statement of
Okay.
financial position.
Are we
Normally, no, listen. Normally, the additional drawing is given as a note after the trial balance, if there is any additional drawing, right?
Yeah, I meant
And
outside
drawing,
the trial balance.
okay, the drawing can be in two form, either cash or in a form of material as an inventory. So if the drawing is given as an inventory, like the manufacturer or the proprietor, he took some finished goods for the personal use, which is made by the company. Maybe there is a furniture making business, they took some furniture for home. So in that situation, we reduce the cost of drawing as a stock in the manufacturing account, or even in the income statement, you have to subtract. But if it is just say drawing, not the drawing of inventory, then this drawing we only account in the statement of financial position. I hope I answered you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You understand there are two type of drawing. Either you are taking cash from the business for personal use, you're just taking cash, or you are taking the stock, inventory for the personal use. So if it is inventory, it has to be recorded in the manufacturing account. But if it is for cash, it will only shown in the statement of financial position. Sharp.
Good.
Okay. So now we are preparing for the same business statement of financial position at the end of the year, 31st December. The format is still same. We always start the financial position by the non-current asset or as a fixed asset. So what are the non-current asset business has? You have to look in the question. What are the non-current assets are given there? There are two types of assets has been mentioned in the question: the productive machineries and the administration computers. So we have two non-current assets. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Somebody didn't mute the mic.
Oh, but it's fine now. Okay. So we start with fixed or non-current asset. So first of all, the productive machineries at cost. So what is the cost of machineries are given in the question is 280,000. And how much depreciation has been charged on the productive machinery in the manufacturing account? How much
78,000.
depreciation was charged? 28,000. Okay. So
Yes.
28,000 was for this year, and the provision for, where is it? Okay, if you see in the question, the cost of machinery is given 280,000. Okay. Then in another column, it is written 230,000. Means currently now the reduced value of the productive machinery is 230,000. So how much cost has been depreciated in the previous year?
50,000.
50,000. You just subtract because it was purchased on 280,000 and now currently it is showing the value 230. So how much value depreciate is 50,000. So in previous year, the machine cost was depreciated by 50,000 and this current year in 22, it has been depreciated by 28,000. So what is the total depreciate value? 50 plus 28. That's how we get 78,000, the total depreciated value on the machineries. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone who still do not understand this calculation?
Ma'am, please say that again. Please explain again.
Okay, do you have the copy of question?
Yes.
Okay, look at the question part where is written productive machinery. Productive machinery, then in a bracket is written the at cost 280,000, right? Then in the same line under debit is written 230,000. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Okay, so what does it mean? When the machinery was bought, it was bought on 280,000, but after using certain years, now the current value remain as a 230,000. Okay, this information can also be given you as provision of depreciation in previous year 50,000. So still is the same meaning. So it means that if this year the values remain 230, so how much value has been depreciated in the previous year? 280,000 minus 230. So how much value will depreciated?
50,000.
50,000. This 50,000 value was depreciated in previous year before 2022 up to the 2021. We don't know when the business started, how many years they use, but in altogether in the previous years it has been depreciated by 50,000 and this year is also depreciated by 10% on the cost. So this year 10% of 280,000, which is make 28,000. Are we together? So the total depreciated value is 50,000 from the previous year and 28 this year as total 78,000. That's how you calculate, get this figure 78,000. Now you subtract the total depreciated value from the cost. So end of this year, the productive machinery's value will remain 202,000. Clear? Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes,
Mm.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Same things we have to do with the administrative computers. The cost of administrative computers in the question given 20,000 cost and now the current value is 12,000, which is next figure you have seen. So in previous year, how much value is already depreciated? 20 minus 12.
8,000.
8,000. So in previous year, do not count year 22 because we are the one who now preparing the accounts for 2022. So in previous year, the value of computers was depreciated 8,000 and this year by 2,000. So what is the total depreciated value up to date?
8 plus 2,000.
8 plus 2. 10,000, right? Just calculate and ensure that you understand. You know that how we calculated this figure. Just do it. If you don't, then let me know. $20 minus 12. So it means that in the previous year it is depreciated by 8,000, and this year depreciation rate is 10% on the cost price of all the assets. So 10% of 20,000, which is make 2,000. So the total depreciated value, the total provision for depreciation is 8 plus 2, 10,000. And when we subtract 10,000 from 20, so the remaining cost of computers is 10,000 end of this year. Then we add the value of machinery and administrative computers. You add them. So the total value of non-current asset is 212,000. Up to here, are we all together?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. All right. Then the second subheading in the statement of financial position after non-current asset, the next one is current asset. So now you have to look in the question what kind of current asset the manufacturing business has. You look from the top, inventory. Those amount we already accounted, you can tick them. So you know that, okay, this one we already taken. So in current asset, we always start with the closing inventory or inventory end of the year. So you can say inventory at the end of year, which is closing inventory. This closing inventory, it can be in a form of raw material, work in progress, and finished good. So we have the raw material for 24,000. This figure is already given in the question. So you just indicate closing inventory, end of the year, raw material 24,000, as a finished good 40,000, and work in progress 15,000. From where we took these figures. Okay. Then what are the other current asset? The other current asset is like account receivable, bank balance, cash at hand, cash in hand. So we account them. Account receivable, how much account receivable given in the question? 142,300. So we recorded there. Then bank balance 16,800, cash balance 1,500. So all these are the current asset. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, sometimes it's look like it's disconnected. All right, so we list all the current asset the business has. The closing inventory, which is in a form of raw material, finished good, and work in progress. So we list them separately. Then account receivable. If they also have some prepaids or outstanding receivable, you will write them and write their total, then add with the 451,600 is a total of non-current asset and the current asset. Okay. Then from current asset, we subtract the current liabilities. So what kind of liabilities are given in the question? You can check. Liabilities can be like bank overdraft, account payable, or outstanding payment. Maybe the rent is not yet paid, so outstanding rent or any other payment which is not yet paid, we list them under current liabilities. But for this exercise, we only have account payable, which is given in the question for 64,000. So account payable for 64,000. That current liability we will subtract from total asset. 451,600 minus 64,000. So once you subtract, your net asset will be 387,600. This is the amount of net assets. Okay. After next asset, what we calculate in the statement of financial position? What do we calculate?
Capital.
Capital, right. The capital of the business. So now we will calculate the capital of business. So when we write the capital financed by, the capital at the beginning of the business or the capital which is given in the question. So the capital given in the question is 357,800. Then we add the net profit. Net profit is 89,800. Then we add the opening capital plus net profit minus drawings. Here we subtract all the drawings. Even if there is some additional drawing given as a note, we subtract here as well. So the drawing is given in the question 60,000. You write them drawing. Yeah, go ahead.
We add all the drawings, even from the manufacturing process.
No, if that one is subtracted here for the stock.
Oh, okay.
We will do one exercise having such entries. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here, because this is the finance, we are talking about finance by. So we will subtract here this drawing which is given in the question 60,000. So the remaining amount is 387,600, which is equals to the net asset. Net asset is equal to the end of the year capital, which is based on the accounting equation. The total net asset equals to capital, and capital can be capital plus liabilities if they borrowed some capital from outside. So that's how the format of a statement of financial position and income statement is just same as we did in the previous course. Only the additional part is the manufacturing account. You have to separately calculate what is the cost of production for that financial year, or if we are doing for 6 months, for the half of the year or quarterly. We just additionally prepare the manufacturing account. Otherwise, the rest of it same like we did previously. Is time up? Seems like for the class. So what I also prepared another 2 activities. I'm just thinking to cover this weekend these 2 activities also online, either on Saturday, Sunday. I will propose a meeting. Those who able to join can join. Otherwise, the rest can go through the recording. Okay.
I've got a question.
So that we can cover up the lessons which is we missed.
Okay, so this
Yes.
is
Is
the Good.
Is the Thursday lesson always going to be online?
Come again?
Is the Thursday lesson always going to be online?
Yeah, the priorities will be online, but if we need to have a physical lesson because the contents are like that, maybe sometimes we can also go physically. So it's not fixed, it's always be communicated, right?
Okay.
Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, I was asking if this for the next activity, is there any way they are posted?
No, I'm going to do it today, later in the afternoon, okay?
Yes,
But
because
I just want to modify the question to make sure, just check if we can add some more entries. So I still am working on those exercise.
okay, ma'am.
All right. Thank you everyone to attending the class. What is the class? The students are not serious.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
Yes,
ma'am,
yeah.